Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love talking about Porter-Leath. And so we're honored to have with us Judy Rautine. She's Porter-Leath Generations Manager. Judy, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good today.
Well, you definitely do a lot of good when you talk about your program. We'll talk all about that working with seniors. But let's start with a little bit of context. Give us some background on Porter-Leath overall as the nonprofit.
Porter-Leath has been in existence since the 1850s. It has served children and families for as long as it's been in operation. We empower children and families to achieve a healthy, optimal, and independent lifestyle. So we do that through a lot of different programs, through preschool, through Connections, through Cornerstone, and then Generations. So we have a lot of different programs and then initiatives like Next Memphis and the Early Success Coalition.
I think it's pretty neat to your point. You serve all ages. And so you have a wide variety of programs and efforts, as you mentioned. Let's start because I think some of these tie in together nicely with what we're going to talk about. And so when you talk about these beautiful facilities, some of which are brand new, serving youth, and so Head Start, early Head Start programs, but working with youth, give a little bit of a description there because that will tie us into some of the things we definitely want to talk about.
You know, Porter-Leath does provide preschool programming for children from 0 or 6 weeks to 4 years of age, and through our centers, but also through our home visitors program through Connections. And so that helps children and families, both children and families, the parents, to learn how to be the child's first teacher and to help them succeed. And Generations comes in because we provide the volunteers that work with those children in the centers to help them help children that need extra help succeed as well.
Go ahead and describe Generations.
Well, Generations is Porter-Leath's national service programs. So we encompass 2 programs, the AmeriCorps program and then the AmeriCorps Seniors. AmeriCorps is adults that are 18 years of age and older that commit to a year of service. So they spend 1,700 hours serving with the children in our preschool centers. They serve about 12 children throughout the year, and they help them increase their literacy skills from beginning to the end of the year scores. Our AmeriCorps Seniors program is a foster grandparent volunteer program that has that places seniors that are 55 years of age and older that live on limited resources. So they meet an income guideline that's set by Congress, and then they're able to serve in our centers and earn a tax-free stipend. So it's a win-win for both. The children get the extra help that they need through a loving foster grandparent, and the foster grandparent gets a little extra income to help them volunteer at no cost to themselves.
Yeah, it's a very creative way, really, on both sides to be able to leverage a win-win like you're talking about, a win-win-win, really, even for the community at large. Talk about the AmeriCorps in terms of, you mentioned the age. Give us some illustration around kind of where they come from geographically. Give us a little bit of that in terms of, for AmeriCorps, those members that are 18 and above.
Well, the AmeriCorps members come from all different walks of life. The majority of our members have come from programs within Porter-Leath or through our partner programs that are young moms that or adults that want to further their education and they aren't able to do that. The AmeriCorps program, if they complete the 1,700 hours, it gives them a national, a Siegel Education Award equivalent to the Pell for their service. And while they're serving, they're able to earn a living allowance that allows them to live and not be you know, in poverty. The members are college students. They're just looking to go to college. They finish college and want to pay off college loans. So they're a variety of different ages. We have seen a lot more older with adults coming back to serve and earn an education award so that they can go back on and go back and get an education, as well as some seniors that are 55 years of age and older that serve, and they can gift their education award to a grandchild or a child. So as long as they are 55 years of age and older, they have the opportunity to give that education award to a relative that either a child or a grandchild.
That's very cool. Yeah, absolutely. How many at a given time, when you look at the AmeriCorps Seniors, how many at a given time are you coordinating? What's the capacity on that?
Well, our AmeriCorps program is a cohort of 20 members. So, but they, as I said, they serve on an annual basis. So every year it is a new cohort of 20 people. And our foster grandparents, we currently have 106 serving in Memphis and Shelby County and Fayette County, and we are expanding into Desoto County, and we'll be able to add 40 volunteers to serve in the Desoto County community.
When you look at the foster seniors and the foster, on that side, what does that entail in terms of time commitment? Walk us through kind of what the expectation is.
Well, the foster grandparents can serve anywhere from 15 to 40 hours a week. They earn a tax-free stipend that is not, it's currently $3 an hour. It's going to go up to $3.15, so it's not a lot of money. But they don't do it for that. They do it to get out of the house, to give back to their community. They serve an average of 2 to 5 children throughout the school year. And they, as I said, they serve anywhere from 15 to 40 hours a week in that same classroom. So they're usually assigned to a classroom, and they work with the students in that classroom.
And obviously then they're building the relationships. I mean, as a foster grandparent, they're building those relationships and those friendships with the students, with the youth. Talk about what it means on both sides, because, obviously for the youth, they're gaining a lot more individualized attention, those relationship building, pieces, which leads to confidence and skill building. On the other side, you often hear that, the volunteer derives as much benefit, if not more, in terms of what it means for their soul and, and their ability to see themselves as a change maker. And so talk about on both ends of the spectrum, what it means for the youth, but also for the foster grandparents.
Well, as you said, for the youth, it does mean that they're getting that extra attention. They're getting an individualized attention that is extra over and above what the curriculum is in the classroom. So the foster grandparent can use activities that the teachers give them, but they can also create activities in normal day-to-day things like, playing on the playground to help teach, as well as they're building confidence and giving that child the positive reinforcement for everything that they're doing. So it builds up the child, and it gives the seniors something to do. They really don't want to be sitting at home and doing nothing. They want to be able to give back to their community. They love serving in the community where they live so that they can see the children out in the community and also be a perfect role model to those students to help them learn all the proper ways to handle situations and deal with coping.
I'm glad you mentioned the power of purpose, because I think that is a big piece of this is the purpose of it, having that purpose every day to be able to get out of the house and feel needed and make a difference. I mean, I think that's a very important piece of this. What has been, the feedback on that side in terms of for the foster grandparents? I've got to believe, once they get in, they're like, I want to do this all the time, every year. And so talk about kind of that annual commitment and what you see on that side of them really making this a full-time opportunity to step in and do this year after year.
Well, I mean, the foster grandparent program has been in Memphis and Shelby County for 50 years. So we are celebrating our 50th year. Porter-Leath has sponsored it for the past 35 years. And we have foster grandparents that have been with the program for half of those 50 years. They range from anywhere from 1 to 25 years, 28 years. They love it. It helps. I've had so many of them tell me that their health has improved since they've come out and started to volunteer, being active with the children. And so they are able to serve longer and live a more independent life for a longer time.
How can the community help your efforts? So talk about ways that we can help Porter-Leath, but obviously specifically around generations.
Well, as I said, we are always recruiting. So we're recruiting for AmeriCorps members. We're recruiting for foster grandparents. So if anyone is interested in either program, they can contact Porter-Leath. We have a link on our website where they can apply. So they can go to porterleath.org, or they can email us at AmeriCorps@porterleath.org.
What are some of the main things? I can imagine a background check. What are some of the main things when you talk about signing up? What's that process look like?
Well, both programs do require a background check. So there is an application process and an onboarding with the background check, the criminal background check, as well as a health screening. So to make sure that they're physically able to serve. And then both programs have an orientation period where they have to attend training and learn the basics of what they would need to have to be able to serve within the center with the children. So that is required in there. The foster grandparents, they continue to receive monthly training to help get on topics that are interest to seniors, as well as topics around the children's behavior and things like that, so that they maintain their health. We want to give them all the tools they need to maintain their health and be active and supportive with the children.
Yeah. A little bit of a two-part question, but talk about how the pandemic impacted your efforts. And as we're coming out of this, hopefully, what has been kind of the normalization? How have things opened back up again? So what happened kind of during COVID, and then how have things gotten back to being a little bit better?
Well, during COVID, because the schools all closed, the foster grandparents were all, and the AmeriCorps members were all staying at home. The foster grandparents were not able to continue to serve. So the AmeriCorps, the funder, was able to continue to provide their stipend for a period of time during the pandemic. Now, our AmeriCorps members continued to serve remotely alongside the teachers. We did have some foster grandparents that were able to go back to their schools and work virtually with their students. And that was with the assistance of the schools. The teachers had to teach them how to do Zoom so that they can have those volunteers helping them with those students. But we are back in most of our centers with foster grandparents now and our AmeriCorps members. But we have 106 volunteers currently, but only about 70 are serving in person, because some still have that. They want to wait and see what's going on with COVID.
What's one more thing that you wish everyone knew about Generations in Porter-Leath?
Just celebrate the foster grandparents for 50 years of service, and promote Porter-Leath for our preschool centers. That it's a great place to have your children grow up in, and they learn so many lessons with the support of these adult volunteers.
Yeah. Wrap up with website. Where can we go to learn more about Porter-Leath and Generations?
It's porterleath.org. That's porterleath.org, /AmeriCorps. And they can call 901-577-2500 and ask for AmeriCorps.
Well, Judy, I greatly appreciate all you and your amazing team do. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.